everywhere.
This was the scene earlier today at Trinity Bellwoods Park when the city moved in to try to remove a homeless encampment. Then police were there to back up and the clashes began. Good evening, I'm Mark McAllister at Trinity Bellwoods right now for City News Tonight. As you can see, plenty of people behind me right now. In fact, hundreds of people have gathered outside fences that have been erected here at Trinity Bellwoods that police have set up earlier today in order to try and control the crowds as they moved in to try and clear another homeless encampment in the city. We're going to show you inside the fences right now as well. We can show you that the police have set up, have lined these fences, and right next to them, of course, are the tents that have been set up here for a matter of weeks for the people that have chosen to camp outside rather than make their way into homeless shelters and some of the housing that has been set up by the city. And here's more of what happened today. Tensions between people experiencing homelessness, their supporters, and the city have peaked once again. People linking arms around encampments, fencing going up before being torn down again. Confrontations with police, along with additional security, leading to arrests and force used to hold people back.
I cannot go into a shelter space for health and safety reasons.
In the midst of it all, Sue has been on the streets for at least 5 years after being evicted. And now the 65-year-old is fighting to stay put while waiting for another permanent place to live.
It's a waste of government money. It's a waste of taxpayer dollars to send out city police to harass homeless people. There aren't even enough spaces in shelters or hotel shelters for the number of homeless people.
Despite efforts to create more spaces throughout the pandemic, with hotels being set up in addition to shelters and modular buildings being created by the city, those living in tents and parks say they feel safer.
We certainly haven't seen substantially greater health concerns in encampments compared to in the shelters or in the hotels. We provide services in all of these spaces and we try to ensure that people have good access to healthcare supports wherever they are.
Trespass notices were handed out on June 12th before city staff and police moved in to enforce them early morning Tuesday. Those living there were given 2 to 3 hours to pack up and the option to move into an indoor space provided by the city.
I think the city is handling this terribly and very violently. Today, what the city has offered people as indoor options are congregate shelter settings. These are spaces that don't feel safe for people. We know from data that shelter violence has increased, so people don't want to go to those spaces. At the end of the day, a lot of people just want housing.
Mayor Tory defended the city's action, saying plenty has been done up until this point, and there was a need to move people from otherwise open park space.
We have made the 20,000 visits to talk to each and every one of those people. So there does come a time when the enforcement people have to make their own decision as to when they have to take some action to say that we can't let the situation continue because of the fires, because of the threats to safety and health.
Later in the day, the city posted a number of tweets referencing 82 projects in the works to create more than 10,000 permanent affordable housing units, including more than 1,200 over the next year. It was just over a month ago when a clash between advocates and police took place at another encampment set up at Lamport Stadium, when the city came in to clear public space there. This time around, people like Sue say they will continue the fight no matter what it takes.
Going to defend my human, civil, charter rights and attempt to stay here until I can get into permanent housing.
Back live here at Trinity Bellwoods Park, we can tell you that a couple of arrests were made earlier today as the clashes were taking place with police along the fence lines. Right now, it's relatively peaceful. As mentioned, there are hundreds of people here camped out outside the encampment, inside the fence, basically waiting for something to happen, hoping that some peaceful resolve will take place sometime soon.